Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, where we've had a lot of requests on the channel today to take a look at the hard Sudoku from the New York Times on Sunday, March 24th. Now, I'm not sure why, so we're going to have to take a look at it. And what I'm going to try and do as I solve this is to think about why this puzzle might have been causing so much trouble. My belief is that, you know, with good Snyder notation and practice at spotting hidden triples, this puzzle is normally extremely doable. So let me try and prove that now, or not, as the case may be. So we'll start off with basic notation. So in each 3x3 block, if I limit a number to exactly 2 positions, you can see the 3's here because of this 3, and this 3, and this 3. It can only go in 2 positions in this box. I make little pencil marks, and I'll do that throughout the solve to try and record little snippets of information that I think will matter. Now this square here can only be an 8 because we have an 8 here and an 8 here. I need to put an 8 somewhere in this box. This is the only valid position. Let's put that in. It allows us to pencil mark 8s into these 2 squares, so this 8 and this 8. And the 8 and the 8 here mean we can, oops, no, 8's can be pencil marked into those 2 squares too. This square. Let's take a look at this square. So again, this is practice. This is something you have to get good at, comparing the contents of rows, columns and boxes and noticing if there are big discrepancies. So as my eyes are scanning down here, I'm seeing obviously the numbers that are in the column, but I'm also noticing that row 9 here contains a completely different set of numbers. So I have no clue as I'm doing this. I'm not doing this very consciously, in the sense that I'm not sort of working out that this has to be a 9. All I'm seeing is that this set of numbers is different to this set of numbers. And then I can sort of, my eyes flash on this square and I'm now thinking, okay, now I need to think to work out that this has to be a 9. It's the only possible digit that can go into this square. Just to show you that why, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Therefore this has to be a 9 in order to obey Sudoku rules. Now, does the 9 matter? Let's just check the rest of this column. I don't see any other great juxtapositions. 3, 4, 6 and 8. No, you can see this square is a little bit restricted, but not restricted enough. There must be, I think, yes, we can look, the 4's here. 4, 4, this square here has got to be a 4 because of the 4 up there. 3's can now be pencil marked in this block because of this 3 here. Can't do anything really with 2's and 7's. 9's, I guess we can also pencil mark into those 2 squares because of the 2 9's here and here. 5, so 5's locked into one of those 2 positions. And into one of those 2, those 2 positions. No, that's no good. It's mirroring there. Come on, Simon, what can we see next? There must be something better than this. 2's, 2's, nope. You also, I'm sure that some of you are noticing that there's no, I don't sort of pursue an algorithm in solving Sudoku. I'm not going through the numbers 1 to 9 in order. I'm just letting my brain go where it will go. So I've now spotted something else. We have a 9 here and a 9 here and this 9 here. So this square has to be a 9. Therefore this square has to be a 9 as well. It's the only place a 9 can go in the central block. We've got 9 here, 9 here and a 9 here. That's going to let me pencil mark some 9's over on the left hand side. Okay, so now the 5's getting better. Let's look at this block. The effect of placing this 9 means I can revisit a number I'd already looked at, which was 5's, and the impact of 5's on this block. We have 5 here and 5 here. So now I get to pencil mark 5's in. Oops, switch to the right notation, into those two squares. 5, these two 5s mean I can also pencil mark 5s into those two squares. And there we go, there's something nice. And this is one of the reasons we recommend this notation, because hopefully lots of you are focusing now on the relationship between the 5s we have in this top right box and the 5s in this top middle, or sorry, right hand middle box. Now you can see that in both of these boxes the 5s are locked into the same column of the grid. So I don't know where these 5s go, but I know that they're going to either be in column 7 or 9 in this block, and in column 7 or 9 in this block. So this forms a sort of type of X-wing structure, in the sense that I know that the 5 will either be here and here in the final solution, or here and here. Or to put that a different way, I know that column 8 of the grid needs to contain a 5. Where can that 5 go? You can see it can't go in either of these two squares because we know the 5 is locked into one of those two squares. Can't go in this square because it's locked into one of these two squares, so it must be in one of these two positions. And the other way of looking at that is the sort of X-wing logic, which says if the 5s are here and here, I can rule out 5s from all of these 5 squares in this bottom box. Ditto, if the 5s are here and here, on the other hand, I get to rule them out from the same squares. So we know the 5s will be in one of those two positions, and we have a 5 here. So that means this one must be a 5. And that gives us another 5 immediately in this square. And that resolves the earlier pencil marks into that square. And all of a sudden, we're making better progress. Just see if I can spot anything else immediately clever. 2, 7, 2, 7, 1. See now pencil. Oh, I keep getting the pencil marks mixed up. We can pencil mark 1's there, pencil mark 1's here. And again, this square. Now, again, what I'm doing here is I'm comparing the contents of column 9 with these squares and this 3 here. So you can see I just pencil mark these 1's in. So in effect, in these 3 positions, we cannot have any of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, because the 1's in one of these 2 squares in row 8, we can see a 2, this 3 prevents there from being a 3 in any of these 3 squares, and a 4 and a 5 as well. So this set of 3 squares has to contain the numbers 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now look at this column. This square here can only be a 7 because there's already a 6 and a 9, 8 and a 9 in that column. So that's a 7. Now what can this square be now? Same logic. We can do the same logic now. This has got to be a 6. It's the only thing it can be, because we already have an 8 and a 9 in the column. And I know that, again, we have to put the numbers 6, 7, 8 and 9 into these 3 squares. So now we know this is an 8 or a 9, but we don't know which. But I'm sure we can do some stuff with the pencil marks we're going to get from this. Yes, so we have a 7 here. Well, there's loads we can do. This might actually have cracked the puzzle. 7 here and 7 here. So this square is going to have to be a 7. I don't know where the 7's going up there. A 1 and a 4 completes column 8 now. We have a 4 here. So in fact, this is a 4 and this is a 1. Pencil mark 1's up there. Now this 7 forces there to be a 7 in one of these 2 positions, which means that this down here is also a 7. Which means I can pencil mark 7's at the top now. And this must be 1 and 2 in some order. Can't resolve that yet. Now this must be 8 and 9 therefore. Which doesn't really take us any further on in the solve. And the other number we're missing over here, look, is a 2. We need to put a 2 in this block, and we have a 2 here, so we can do that as well. All of a sudden, as I say, we're starting to make a little better progress. Now, the other number we looked at, we got a 4, 4, 4 here, so let's place a 4 into one of those two squares. What do we need in here? 1 and 3 as well. Can't do anything with that, don't think. If we can, I'm not seeing it. Sorry, and there's a 2. Look, this 2 here is affecting this square, which means that in row 2 we can pencil mark 2's over on this side like that. So this square here is going to have to be a 6. Sorry if you can hear the children laughing in the background. I think it's a nice sound, but probably not one conducive to a YouTube video. Right. So we still need to place a 6, look, in this block, and there's a 6 here, so we can pencil mark 6's into one of those two squares, and now we have a 4, 6 double. So I think this is the only position a 5 can go. Now what? Yes, that makes sense. I could have actually, or does it make sense? 5, 5, 4, 6. Yeah, that does make sense. Being slow. So we can remove the 5 from this square. Now this is going to resolve the 5 here, look. Therefore we're looking for 1 and 3 into these two positions. 5, 5, 4, 6, 3, 1, 3. I feel like I'm missing something very obvious that's staring me in the face here. I hate this feeling when I'm solving Sudokus. It's like a spider sense that's tingling that 2's here, 2, 2, and therefore this has got to be a 2, which means this is an 8. Now this must be a 4, which resolves the 4 and the 6, and therefore this, if I've got everything right, ought to be a 6. 6, 6 here, so we can pencil mark 6's over on this side of the grid. And we've got a 5 in here now as well, which I probably should have spotted earlier, but that resolves this 5 pencil mark dilemma over on this side. This can't be a 5 anymore. This has to be the 5. You can see, oh, there we go, we complete the 5's in the grid. I can immediately place a 6 and a 9 from the earlier pencil marks. This 9 here now resolves everything down in the bottom. The 9 and the 8 is resolved over on this side. This 8 now goes in here. And we're very close to a final solution. This now must be a 1, that's a 1, that's a 7, and this is a 2. Pencil mark 7's into these two squares. We need, what do we need into one of those two squares? Is it a 2, which again is affected by this 2 and 8, like that. This must be an 8, the 8's get completed. Still don't know where the 3 goes here. Another number we need is a 4, isn't it? So we can, oh no, pencil mark 4's. Try and step back from the brick grid a bit and make sure that I'm not missing anything. 3, this square here has to be a 3, I think. So we already have a 4, 7 in the column. So that's a 3. 3, 3, this is a 3, 3, 7, this must be a 6. 7's into those two squares. 6, 6, this must be a 6, there goes, the 6's get completed. This has got to be a 4, I think, which you can see that's going to complete the rest of it. 4, 7, 3, 3, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. And if everything's worked out, this is going to be a 7 and this will be a 1. So there you go, that was how to do it, and I think there was a couple of lessons there. A few naked singles that we needed to spot as we went through, and I hope that that showed you how I go about solving those. And then there was a lovely thing with the 5's, wasn't there? We managed to lock the 5's in this 3x3 block and this 3x3 block into a pattern that locked the 5 in column 8 into one of these two squares, and that was also crucial. So there you go. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. We really appreciate it. Do give us a thumbs up as well. Our belief is that the YouTube algorithm somehow recognises that and promotes our videos more, which is what we're after at the end of the day. So thanks for watching. Back soon with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Oh, put the 1 in.